Well, if we're not careful, trust and identity will be eroded by deepfakes. And identity is the foundation of security. So obviously, to protect the foundation of security, to protect the trust that we have in our digital transactions, we better make sure that the deep fakes don't overrun our ability to assure you're talking to the person or thing or entity that you think you're interacting with.
I've got, probably about 150 accounts which I need to store passwords for, okay? And I can't wait for the day that I don't need to use a password anymore. And I'm just thinking things like fingerprint access, retina scans, I want an end to passwords. Am I deluded? Are they always going to be around, Andre? What does the next 10 years look like in terms of the evolution of this space?
Well, things like passwords obviously die hard. We've had the technology to do it, but making the technology ubiquitous is probably a 10-year affair. But eventually we are moving now, and you could see it kind of under where Face ID and biometric fingerprints and Face ID, essentially biometrics to your mobile device. Yeah. Technically, there is a password underneath that's still being shared. It's just not a password that you created, and it's not simple. It's a real long, complex number.
Yeah.
But what you do with your biometric is you're essentially unlocking that passcode, and that passcode is being shared in essence to log you in. So underneath the covers, there's still kind of secrets, if you will, or numbers shared, but your experience is not one of having to remember passwords or create passwords.
Yeah.
You, in essence, are using your biometric and the sophistication of your device to keep your secrets and making sure it's only you logging into your accounts and your information. We eventually will get there. But like I said, it's a hard, complex problem. Passwords are everywhere, and it's just going to take a while. So I think we'll still be managing them for some time, but eventually we will get there.
Yeah, sure. What biometrics have you seen aside from fingerprints and retina, face recognition or retina scans? Is there any wacky ones in there? Out there at the moment, Andre, or is it just those?
Those are the predominant ones. I am a fan of what Amazon is doing with Amazon One and the Palm. And it's not just like a palm photograph. You can do, you can see there's luminosity of skin, which I think resolves to like 1 in 10 million. There's vein structure that is very personal that can actually be seen. And I like the idea. I mean, they all have their place. Don't get me wrong.
Is that vein structure in your eyeball or in your hand or something? Is it? Or?
I'm describing the one in your hand, but obviously when they do retina, they're doing something similar, right?
Yeah, sure.
Just be on the surface shape of the topology of your eye. So I like that one because there's something about something taking your face that feels kind of usurious, whereas like projecting your hand versus having your face scanned. There's a lot of elegance in the user permission of that action. You're also not touching anything. So unlike a fingerprint, we lived through a pandemic. So the notion that there's a remote scanning. So that one I find pretty intriguing, frankly. But look, all things, quote unquote, biometric recognition. I think over time, when you talk about all the different scenarios, meaning we have a lot of customers who have frontline workers who are wearing gloves, can't do a fingerprint. Through the pandemic, might be wearing a mask, so you can't get the full facial biometric. So you've got to scan it from eyes above. We've got scenarios where you have shared workstations. And so how do you, anyway, all these different call centers, you can't take your smartphone into a call center for privacy and other security reasons. So how are you going to authenticate the users when you can't use the biometrics embedded in your phone in the call center?
Yeah.
So we have to come up with ways to ensure it's you in lots of different scenarios.
Are you seeing your offering move into the physical world more and more now then, Andre? I still need to use a key to get into my home. I'd rather use your solution and just have a fingerprint or a retina scan to go into my front door. Are you seeing that more and more?
And it's happening, right? So Apple is reported to be coming out with, a doorbell that uses Face ID. Well, look, you can see where that's heading, right? Your
Mm,
biometric now. And the other thing is that the mobile phone is actually the bridge between the physical and the digital world. And what I mean by that is that your mobile phone can do Face ID to let you into websites,
yeah,
but your mobile phone also has Bluetooth. So it is now possible to Face ID to your phone, which is a physical device, and then have your phone project your identity, say, for example, via Bluetooth, and all
mm,
of a sudden a door opens. And those are use cases that we've actually, with partners, demonstrated. It's analogous to your watch, your Apple Watch, coming to within proximity of your phone and unlocking your phone.
yeah.
Now your phone can be on you, come to proximity of a door, and the door could open. That actually is happening now. And the technology to do that is there. Now, when you get into physical devices like doors, it's a whole universe of different manufacturers there, but there are some standards that we can begin to bridge to, in essence, as you say, allow your biometric to open both physical and digital doors. And all of that is technology Ping is working on.
We're seeing deepfakes, AI impersonating people's voices, etc., etc. In terms of this wave of AI innovation in the last couple of years, what security challenges does that present to an organization like yours and your product?
Well, if we're not careful, trust and identity will be eroded by deep fakes. And
Yeah,
identity is the foundation of security. So obviously, to protect the foundation of security, to protect the trust that we have in our digital transactions, we better make sure that the deep fakes don't
yeah.
overrun our ability to assure you're talking to the person or thing or entity that you think you're interacting
But
with.
but is that happening right
So
now?
it
Is
is
that a
happening.
realistic threat? Are we seeing bots get through security protocols by impersonating people?
They are. They absolutely are. I mean, the big one that really got publicized was the $25 million, about 6, 8 months ago, that was wired through through a fraudulent interaction that was essentially a deep fake. So, detecting deep fakes, there's what we call the good side of AI and the dark side. So, the dark side is AI will empower a level of social engineering that feels much more accurate than it has historically felt. It's easily detect, so it's going to be harder to detect. That's one end. The other thing is, as you say, the deep fakes on what I call voice and video. So
Yeah,
the text and emails have been abused, not so great, but they've been abused. They're easy to detect. But we have come to trust that voice and video is trustworthy. And now AI with deep fakes makes that not a true statement. You no longer can trust your eyes and ears anymore. And so
yeah,
leveraging AI to detect deepfakes and all of the surrounding signals that indicate lack of integrity or authenticity at the end of the day, which is what's being attacked, is we are
yeah,
also using AI for that. So there's a good side and a bad side to it. With AI, we can sift through hordes of data that indicate authenticity, and we can leverage that in real time to ensure the integrity of identity.